everybody. Welcome. I hope you are all having a fabulous day. This is Witch Jodi, and you are now entering Tea Time with Witch Jodi RN. Tonight, I thought we would sit and just chit chat a little bit. And, please feel free to come out and send me comments because I am watching as we are sitting here and streaming. So I'm happy to answer any questions you should have. But I thought with Lugasa, or Lammas is another name for it, is coming up here the first weekend of August. I thought I'd talk a little bit about that because this is a wonderful Sabbath for us who are pagan and actually celebrate this. But it's our very first harvest. Can you believe it? We're already hitting the end of July. I mean, what happened? Seriously, what happened? So, Lammas or Lugasa is our very first harvest. So you are going to start seeing stuff with, grains. So if you're in the farming community, you're going to notice that we're baling the hay. We're starting to see the straw. You're starting to actually gather and harvest things. So it's our very first harvest. And our very first harvest usually resonates around grains. So your wheats, your oats, hay, that kind of thing. And so it's a wonderful time if you're pagan and if you are celebrating and you happen to want to do something on your altars, that you offer something such as maybe a loaf of bread or some kind of buns, anything like that. So that is what that is resonating with. And I want you to think about sunflowers. Sunflowers are also something really wonderful that you can incorporate too, because think about it. Our sunflowers, they're tall, they're fully bloomed right now. What a beautiful thing. It's representing beautiful sunshine, the beautiful warmth of the earth. And it's just a very lovely thing. So you see a lot of times when you're doing Lammas or Lugasa celebrations, women and children wearing crowns with sunflowers on them or yellows, oranges, those bright, vibrant, sunshine colors. So I thought I would talk a little bit about that. If you had any questions about that, let me know. Then I also wanted to ask, I got a mosquito flying around me, so I'm going to wave my hands. Another thing I thought I would ask you guys, how are you doing? This has been Mercury retrograde. It's been a rough one. My husband had to take the dog out. Sorry. So I'm at home. I wanted to be outside. I needed to be outside and the energy and just feeling it. This Mercury retrograde, I don't know about you guys, but it walloped me a good one. I've been a little bit more blue. I've been a little bit more depressed. In my personal life, you guys know that I lost the son a year ago. So on the 12th of July was his 1 year death anniversary. Yesterday would have been my mother's birthday, and her anniversary of her death is coming up on Friday in 2 days. So it's been a lot in the last week. So I've kind of retreated. I've kind of went in, and so that's what you're supposed to do during a Mercury retrograde. Even though the planet Mercury is not actually moving backwards, it just appears that way in the sky. But it is a time to reflect. It is a time to slow down and take care of yourself and take care of the things that you need to be taking care of so that you're meeting the needs that you need to do. With Mercury retrograde right now, we only have 2 more days, guys. 2 more. We can do this. We can get through it. A lot of people ask me, well, what are the things that you should be avoiding? With it being a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Cancer, and I am not the astrologist, keep that in mind. I have people that do that for me. But with that being said, one of the things I like to point out is it's very emotional. So you might feel the need to reach out to somebody from your past and reconnect, and maybe that's not the best idea to do right now. And I'm talking about like your exes, your ex partners, maybe a family or a friend that you guys just went separate ways, and it was a good thing you went separate ways because it wasn't good for either one of you. Right now is not the time to reach out and reconnect with those individuals. Even though you might feel the need to want to do that, stop, Think about it. Figure out why you want to do that. Is there a reason behind it? Is there a reason because you need to have a different type of closure, or do you need to either apologize to them because you feel you've done something wrong, or is it a need to just reconnect? Maybe the reconnection is not what you want to do, but if you need to apologize so that you feel right within your own soul, that's a potential, but be very cautious with that. I don't want you to go down a road you don't want to go down, if you know what I mean. Um, but it's been very feely, I guess is the best word for me to put it. It's been very feely. I mean, all the emotions. You'd think that we were in Pisces, but we're actually in Cancer. And I believe, if I can remember right, too, there was something to do with Gemini in there, which is that twin flame. So again, those love affairs. Another thing, too, when you're dealing with Mercury retrograde, again, those tensions can be high. I want you to really think twice before you're making a phone call, leaving a voicemail. Think about your words. If you feel you need to practice before doing it, you could do that. Reread your emails before you send it to make sure you don't, put out something you're not intending to put out because maybe it's coming across inappropriately. Reread your contracts. So if you're signing something, I don't know, maybe you're signing on a new property because you bought a new place or you rented a new place, something like that. Really, really double check your contracts. Make sure you understand what you're signing and what you're getting into. If you need to renegotiate something, make sure you're doing that. You definitely want to take that extra time because right now we need to kind of settle within. So for me right now, settling within, I have been kind of heartsick, kind of sad, depressed. And, what can you do to pull yourself out of that? I reached out to somebody today. I was really hurting. I was really struggling with my grief today. And so I actually reached out to somebody very, very close to me. And I'm just like, I'm having a struggle day. I just don't know what to do with myself. And I felt this individual who I'm very close with had went through something, pretty much the same type of thing that I had went through around the same time. And so she and I were texting back and forth. And she said, get out of the house, because today was my day off. So I was home and I was like sitting in it. And she's like, get out, go get in the gardens, go plant flowers. I know how much you love that. Go up on top your hill and sit up in your gardens, dig in the dirt, ground yourself. And I listened to her. And I tell you what, I went and did the things and I felt so much better. I actually left the house. I went and did a little bit of shopping because I don't know if anybody told you, shopping therapy. Oh, yeah, that helps. It helps. Don't go out spending crazy money that you can't afford. However, I went out and I found a couple of things for the store, decor for the store because Halloween stuff is coming out and that just makes me happy. So I went and looked around a little bit with that. And then I went to a garden center and I just chilled in the flowers because flowers, I mean, seriously, flowers. So I did that. And then I came home and I dug in the dirt and I just sat and I just reflected. And it was amazing because I had cardinals flying all over the place. Many people believe that a cardinal is a symbol of a spirit of your loved one. Now I'm going to go scientific on you. I've got a cardinal's nest out back here somewhere. I mean, because they're here all the time. So I know there's got to be a cardinal's nest somewhere up in here. But I did. I felt connected and I started seeing specific butterflies. So when I see white butterflies, to me, that represents my grandma Asplund. And I was like, oh, grandma is here. And then I saw some other ones and it was really amazing. So I felt that connection with my loved ones and it really made a huge difference. But when you're struggling and you're hurting, Don't just sit in it. Reach out to people. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you so much. Yes, I did. I got outside, and it did help. Um, I would have went swimming, but it was a little too cold for me. It's got to be over 80 degrees for me to jump in the pool. Otherwise, I won't do it. But I felt better. I gardened, I got my fingers dirty, and it just felt good because you ground. And I could just feel that sorrow and that awful heaviness that I had just kind of go down, 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 go down, and just it went right out. And so tonight I'm a little bit more spry, I'm a little bit more silly, a little bit more happy, and I just feel better. So, grief is a thing. And there are 5 stages of grief if you're not aware of that. And so, take the time you need. I was just in that depression moment for a while and I needed to get out of it. So I've been sitting in it for a few days. My staff noticed it. They were aware of it. And yeah, I was just hurting. So I feel so enlightened now. And I just feel like, yes, what can I do next? What am I going to go play? So, do you guys want to know what I planted? I planted some extra rose bushes because I have a huge thing and with roses. So, I planted some roses and I planted some foxglove. If you don't know what foxglove is, first and foremost, it's absolutely stunningly beautiful, but it's on the poisonous plant list because way back in the day, so think Victorian ages, um, when you had somebody that maybe you didn't want around anymore, they made tea out of foxglove. Now, it's also known as digital. I can't remember the proper name, you guys, the genus name of it. But if you know anything about cardiac meds, it is the medication digitalis. So digitalis is a cardiac med. It's also known as Coreg, and it helps to adjust your heart rate. So that's how that kind of played in. And Tamara says, my aura is brighter. Well, good. I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to hear that. Um, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy. I made a silly video today and I threw it on my pages for Instagram and Facebook and for TikTok about Mercury retrograde. I had fun with it. So it felt good to have the fun back. And so again, if you are sitting in this Mercury retrograde that most people are sitting in and they're just feeling the ick, do something, get outside and ground, connect with nature, go for a walk, listen to the birds, see what animals come up and surround you. And if you got animals coming in, whether it's a bunny rabbit, whether it's deer, whether it's a fox, whatever it happens to be that kind of, sneaks up on you, research it, see what that might mean to you. What does that animal spirit mean to you? Oh, let's see here. I got a question. I'll get to it in just a second, Eric. But yeah, see what that animal spirit means. If there's some kind of a correlation for you guys. So, Mr. Eric, he asked a question: where should someone who is dipping their toe into learning about Wicca practices start? Well, I'm going to be honest. Gerald Gartner is fantastic, and I'm sorry, and Scott Cunningham. So finding books, okay. Wicca itself, I am not Wiccan. I am a witch, yes. And so for those of you that don't know, you can be a witch and Wiccan, or you can be a witch and not Wiccan. Some Wiccans don't consider themselves witches, and some do. Some witches, like myself, do not consider themselves Wiccan. It was a misconception years back because when people wanted to practice witchcraft and wanted to come out as a witch, but they were scared to say, "Ooh, I'm a witch," they would come out and say, "I am Wiccan," a lot of the times because it was easier on the palate. People weren't quite so afraid of the word Wiccan as they were witch. So I'm a hermetic witch. So I deal a lot with science and elements and nature and, like green witchery, that kind of stuff. But Wicca itself is actually a religion where witchcraft itself is a craft of an individual. It's not a religion. It's an actual practice. So there's your difference. But if you really want to dive down into the Wiccan, category, you've got Gerald Gartner, who is one of the founders of it. You have got Scott Cunningham, who was huge in the 60s and 70s. So, like encyclopedia of magical herbs. You've got just magical herbs. You've got Wicca, green Wicca, green witchcraft. Those particular books are such great starting books if you want to go down the Wiccan path. Not witchcraft is more where I'd be drawn. Not only that, but there's actually covens around the Twin Cities that are Wiccan too, if you are interested in getting into them. One of them's name is Blue Star. I remember that because I know a gal named Jessica who's a part of that lineage. And you can, check in with them. They've got a website and it's just Blue Star. But what I would say is you can work with them, and it's a degree program. And Eric is saying to me, "Woo, thank you for the distinction," and he'd be more interested in witchcraft itself. So witchcraft itself, oh my gosh, I could go forever on this. I mean, I have been practicing witchcraft going on 51 years. Okay, yeah, I'm a lot older than that, and I'm very happy with what I teach. So I actually teach witchcraft classes at my store at Midwest Witchery and Healing. The next class that'll be coming up, I will be doing one in September and I will be doing one in October. I go through quite a bit of it, but you really want to learn the science behind it first. And once you understand the science, then you can start doing stuff a little bit better. It is a lot to do with working with your elements. It's working with different properties. So some people, when they're doing witchcraft, want to just work with herbs. That's great. Some people want to work more the scientific aspect of it. So getting into the elementals, getting into working with polarities, that kind of stuff. There's a balance. There's definitely a balance. People will ask me about what's the difference between, white witchcraft, black witchcraft. There's no real good witch, bad witch type thing. I'm going to put that out there right now. So many people want to give it a label. Witchcraft is everything. So you have to have complete balance. You have to have that equal polarity. If you remove something from over here to put it over here, then you've got to take and whatever you've moved over here, you've got to refill that hole so that you don't have an incomplete balance. Because if you're incomplete and you're not balanced, things do not work for you. It's a universal law. I do not do anything that's going to harm other individuals, or any kind of animals or anything like that. I don't believe in doing that because I believe in free will. Everybody has free will. When you are talking about witchcraft and you go into the light, the dark of it, yes, there are people out there that do hexes and curses. It's just not something that I do. But you have to look at it from a different perspective. Some people may call it, dark magic. Other people might call it's a form of protection. They're not meaning for it to be negative or nasty. They're doing it as a form of protection to stop something. If you have, say, a predator coming at an individual, whether it is they're teasing, they're social media slamming somebody, whatever it happens to be, and that practitioner decides to do a spell to stop and block that nastiness coming at them, and the individual that had been being so mean through the social media all of a sudden started having bad luck. Did you curse them or hex them? No, not necessarily. But you may have blocked their advances of hurting you as the practitioner. So you have to look at it a little bit off and on with that. Tamara was saying, I'm struggling today and I found a gray and white feather on her door. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. So gray and white. I'm thinking you may have either gotten a pigeon feather or potentially a mourning dove feather, which both of them are great because pigeons, I always look at it as a pigeon as a messenger. It's a message coming in from somewhere, a light feather like that. If it's a mourning dove, you think about new beginnings, the dawn of a new day. So it could be either or. So that's pretty cool. for you, Tamara. I'm so excited for you that you found that. But Eric, I hope that that answered a little bit for you. But yes, I have been practicing a very long time, and I even like to do chaos. I even like to do chaos magic, and people will ask me, well, "What's chaos magic?" I like to mix it up, you know, not in a nasty way, but okay, let's do it this way. If I've been stagnant and I can't get things moving, and I want something to move, I'll throw like everything but the kitchen sink in there to do something a little bit different to see if it's going to kick up the energies by using different elements and using different product, you know. And when I say product, I shouldn't say that. Different ingredients such as herbs, or maybe I'll throw in some rose thorns or broken glass or something, and then put red hot chili peppers in there because I want to speed it up. The whole thing is to amplify it, to push it, to make it go faster. So different things like that. So it's all about perspective. But at the end of the day, you know, read. There are so many people out on social media right now, and you know, I mean, that's the way of the world right now is social media. I mean, I'm even on the platform, correct? So, and I have to utilize it too to reach the masses. But there's a lot of people out there that are doing stuff and not thinking about it. And we have got to, there's some great people out there that I even follow. I love Uncle Birch. He is one of the guys that I love to follow. He's out of New Orleans. And he's old school. And I mean, he's old school. Like he was practicing back in the 60s and 70s. So he's a bit older than I am. But we have to remember our foundations. You've got so many younger influencers going out and just doing stuff. So if you think about in the early days of TikTok and Witch Talk and all that kind of stuff, one of the things that happened out there was young ones were cursing the moon and hexing at the fae. Okay. No, we don't do that kind of stuff. You have to remember our people that started this. I want you to think about people like Selena Fox or Lori Cabot or Doreen. I can't remember Doreen's last name, but it was a V. V as in Victor was her last name. Sybil Leek. I mean, some of these people from way a long time ago, Alexander Crowley, you know, Gerald Gartner, Scott Cunningham, these people who are foundations from years ago, they have a lot of good information out there, and you can still find their books. I mean, you know, definitely look into some of that kind of stuff because, you know, at the end of the day, we have to give them credit for teaching and whatnot. In fact, Lori is my Reverend Mother. I am a second degree Cabot, and I do not take that lightly. I'm very happy that I took those courses. And you know what? I had an attitude in the beginning. I thought, you know, I've been a practicing witch for, you know, close to 40 years. What in the world am I going to learn? Oh, let me tell you something. I learned a lot. You know, so finding these avenues where you can learn from people is an absolutely amazing thing. But you do have some younger practitioners out there, and they've got it going on for themselves, and I'm super happy for them. We're breaking the stigmata. That is the big thing. I'm trying to break the stigmata so that people aren't afraid of the word witch. So many people are afraid of it. I went to my class reunion, 40-year high school class reunion last weekend on, well, actually coming up on 2 weeks ago. So it was on like the 11th or something like that of July. And so when I went there, it was really weird because people were like, oh my God, Jodi is here. And, you know, they did that, you know, that back and forth, like they wanted to come and talk to me, but they weren't quite sure. And so a couple of them were like, what is a witch? And I'm like, you know what? It's no different than anybody else. I said, you can look at it in different aspects. I always like to say a witch is a wise woman. One of the new anagrams that they're starting to say now is for the word witch is woman in total control of herself. I love that. There's even a tarot deck and an oracle deck with that saying on it. And I'm like, yes, it's giving people that option. But you got to remember, men can be witches too. No, they're not warlocks. You've got a female or a male witch, not a warlock. I mean, yes, Hollywood calls it that. And maybe some religions, some witchcraft religions may actually consider the male witch as a warlock, and that's fine. That's fine. But I look at it as um just we're both male and female witches. Um that is the way I was taught. That is the way I teach. But yeah, I totally love helping individuals who are just learning their way. I'm going to give you the big secret. Would you guys all like to know the great big giant secret? Okay, here it is. The most important tool in a witch's cabinet. It's not the cauldron. It's not the wand. It's the witch herself. It's what's in here. It's your energy, it's your intention, it's you yourself. Because you have to believe in yourself. You have to put that energy in and you have to put that work in. You can go buy the lottery ticket. That doesn't mean you're going to win it. You have to put the energy in. I don't know how many times people come to me and say, I need a spell. I need a spell for, a lot of money, like a windfall of money to come in. Needed some water. Um, sure, you can do that, but you got to put in the work, guys. Maybe it's getting a new job. So let's put out a spell to help you get a better paying job or maybe a promotion at work, something like that. That's going to bring in money a little bit better. I mean, you don't want to just throw it out there willy nilly. I had a girlfriend that did that. God rest her soul, because she's no longer with us. And she did that, and she was like in desperate need, and she needed a specific amount of money. And she went out and she did her spell work, and she asked for that specific amount of money, and she got it. And her uncle had passed away, and it was an inheritance that she got for that specific amount of money. Did she cause her uncle to die? No, of course not. But she was devastated because that was her favorite uncle, because she didn't have the best connection with her biological family. She had her chosen family, but her uncle was her only true connection. So it really devastated her. So you have to think about those things. I mean, please come by all the aesthetic things by all means, make the happy thing, but you do not have to work it that way. You can go out and go for a walk down by the river, and there's this beautiful piece of driftwood that happens to be right there in your pathway. Ask, ask nature, is it okay for me to take this? Rinse it off, dry it off. That could be a perfect wand. Finding river rock, you can utilize that. But, your intention, you yourself, that is the most important thing. You have to word it. You have to do the work. Uh, you know, I've had people come to me, for a lot of different things, but you have to put in your work. And when you're putting out your stuff, another really great thing that I like to teach people, it's how you speak it. How are you speaking it? Are you saying, I want, I wish, I need? You can, but the universe doesn't understand that. It's like, oh, okay, I'll get around to it. Instead of saying that, maybe try, I am, I have, I own. Do it with a different thing that you already have that in you. So I love using this example. You need a new car. So with your new car, you really wanted to get a red Mustang convertible. You're not going to say, I really am putting this out into the universe. I want that red Mustang convertible, blah, blah, blah. No, you're going to put out into that universe something more on the means of, when you're doing your spell and burning your patent or whatever, however you're going about doing your spell, you're going to state, I'm driving down County Road E in my red Mustang convertible, and I've got the tunes blaring and the sun shining on my face, and I am happy. You're stating it matter of factly. You can even throw in there, and I'm doing it in the month of August 2026. put a time frame in there. I have learned you have to put some time frames in. For those of you who have followed me for some time, I'm going to give you an example. When I first opened my little store in Stillwater, Midwest Witchery and Healing, it was a smaller one suite area. If you've been there recently, I own 3 suites in that building. Not 1, 3. So I started out over here in my 1 suite. I had an opportunity to come over here and get a second one, which is my classroom. And the one in between, which is the big room that everybody walks into now, that was a photography studio. Before I bought my classroom or rented my classroom, I talked to the gal that actually owned the photography studio. And I said, hey, when your lease comes up, are you planning on renewing it? And she said, yes, absolutely. And I said, okay, great. Because I thought, well, if she wasn't, I was going to take her suite, but then I probably wouldn't take the classroom. I didn't want to bite off more than I could chew, if you know what I mean. Well, I went about my business, rented the classroom. Everything is going fine. I literally just got everything in October, okay, for the classroom. I went away, as you know I do in November, and I came back in December, and she cornered me and she goes, Jodi, she goes, I need to talk to you. And I said, okay, what's going on? Something happened to the building? Did something happen when I was gone? Did somebody piss you off? Do I have to, go rattle cages? What's going on? Well, I decided I'm not going to renew my lease. And I said, okay, so what does that mean? And she goes, so I was just wondering if you'd like to take over my lease or if you want my space when my lease is up come March. I manifested that I really wanted to have that space, but I didn't put in a time frame. I should have put in a time frame for a little bit further out. So I ended up taking that place on. I was terrified, you guys, because I brought on 2 new suites in 3 months. That was a big deal for me to do. And it all worked out. It's been fabulous. But again, it is something to show you. Put regulations on your manifestations because you can manifest something and you could get it a little bit quicker than maybe you're ready for. So for instance, okay, this is not me. I'm not having any more babies. But if you're a newer couple and you're looking to have children and you want to be blessed with a large family. So you're like, yep, I want to have a large family. I want to have, 8 kids. Maybe you might want to put some time frames in there because all of a sudden you might be getting like 2 sets of twins, bam, bam, bam. Or, you could be doing stuff where you have too much too fast. So just be aware of it. But be ready. Do that work, as Chaz is saying. And when the universe delivers, be grateful. Show gratitude. Give back. Anytime you're doing spell work, you should always be giving back. Always be giving back. Another thing too, with everything going on astrologically, when you're a newer broom or a newer witch, not everybody understands astrology. Not everybody is going to understand the planetary alignments, and that's okay. Learn your moon phases. Start there. That's a simple one. Understand what you should do at what time. So we've got a full moon coming up, right? I believe it's the full moon coming up. Or is it the new moon? Oh my gosh. See, I've been so out of touch, you guys. I have to cheat. I really have to cheat. I'm pretty sure it's the full moon coming up, but I'm going to cheat. I've got an app on my phone so that I have all the planetary alignments because that's just what I do. We're actually at the first quarter right now. Yes. So Sunday, actually it's Wednesday, July 29th. We will be at a full moon, I believe. Yep. The full moon is coming up on the 29th. And so let's talk about that. So a full moon, a great way to explain it is somebody's got a question. I will talk about that in just a second because boy, do I have the insight on that one. The full moon is a time of release. It's to let go. to ask for your heart's desire. You hear that. Some people actually flip it and don't do that, but it's a time of release. So you can ask for, the cat's meow, so to speak. Um, and then a new moon is new beginnings, things that you want to bring into yourself. So are you starting a new business adventure? Are you starting, maybe you want to do something new with your business? Like, hey, for me, for instance, I don't vendor, right? I want to start vendoring. So at a new moon is when I'm going to start doing my workings to start building myself up so that I can vendor and that I'm going to do very good or be successful with my vendoring ventures. Okay. That kind of thing. Um, Somebody had asked me, how are hospitals affected by the moons? As a nurse, and for many a year, working critical care, cardiac, it cray cray. Full moons, it's crazy. Oh, I don't want to be working in no ERs during a full moon because it's bat crazy. I'm just saying it. Honest to God, bat crazy. Okay. When I was a paramedic, the calls that we would get for EMS to have to go out, cops see it, social services sees it, anybody in the EMS medical world, y'all see it. Even customer service, you see it. People are a little bit off kilter, is how I'm going to put it. It just affects us. Some people can't sleep during a full moon. Other people sleep like a baby. Everybody is affected a little different. It's also very interesting. If you go and look at your own birth chart, if you were born around a full moon, the full moon will affect you differently than somebody who is not born around a full moon. I find that very intriguing. I've got these wonderful necklaces and bracelets in my store, and they're called Moon Glow. And you can look up your birth date and it'll tell you what phase of the moon you were born in. And I have so many moms come in and they're like, oh my gosh, look at this. I was born on a full moon. And then they start looking at their kids, and their kids are either born on a full moon or on a new moon. It's really wild. They're like a day off either way of that full moon or on the full moon, or they'll be a day off of the new moon or on the new moon. It's really wild. I find that fascinating. I'd like to do a study on it. I've never done it, but I think it would be really fascinating to see how that works. But anyway, but yeah, when you're starting out in witchcraft, start out simple. Start out simple, you guys. It's, finding what resonates within you. Be happy with it. Find your comfort, find your peace. You never want to walk into anything angry. You want to walk into it. You can be upset about stuff and still do workings. I'm not saying you can't, but you want to ground. You need to ground and center. If you are doing any type of spell work, whether you are brand new to this or you are very seasoned in it, okay? Because I'm a crone, as my friend Lynn likes to say, we're cronagers. I've been around. I mean, I've been practicing a long time. You always, always, always need to ground and center and then do protective work for yourself before doing magical workings. Because if you don't do it, I do a PowerPoint with this, and it's kind of comical because I can't show it to you here, but if you don't ground and center before doing your workings and don't protect yourself before your workings, what happens? And then it shows you this black cat and they've got smoke coming out like like something blew up all around them and like they got the debris all over them. It can backfire on you. And that's true. You don't want to be putting out ill intentions or the wrong intentions for it to come back at you. It's just no fun. It's just no fun. You want to make sure that you are truly grounded and truly centered in your workings. So with Lammas or Lugasa coming up here in just over a week, what are some wonderful things that you can do? I have great ideas for you. It's a great time to honor the land and give back to the land because the land is giving us its harvest right now, correct? So let's give back. Give a little extra water right now. We've been really kind of dry. You could do that. If you could give a little bit of natural fertilizer like compost back to the land. So if you're a gardener, put some compost out. Check your, you got to check your fruits and veggies and your floral, because I don't know what you're all growing, but you could put a little bit of eggshells or a little bit of coffee grounds. That is a natural fertilizer for your plants. You can put that into the ground for yourself. There is so much I can teach you. I mean, I teach courses on gardening and what type of fruits and veggies you should be growing at what time of the moon phases, because it can affect you. Crystals can be thrown into this too. You can put crystals in your garden. Believe it or not, your plants love crystals. They do. Clear quartz. Here's the thing. You don't have to go buy the fancy schmancy stuff. River rock. Everybody has river rock around their house. Go get the white ones. You know which ones I'm talking about? They're the white quartz that are not polished, that are that milky color. That's clear quartz. Put that into your gardens, and you're going to end up having a wonderful experience. It's going to help. It amplifies the growing for your plants, and your plants love it. They absolutely love it. I'm not a big, promoter of any kind of alcohol, but beer. I know it sounds bizarre, but pouring beer around your gardens, because of the hops in the beer, and there's something to do with the, I don't know if it's a carbonation or what exactly is in the beer, but it actually helps your plants. So something I learned from an old gardener, old gentleman, but it works. It works in my gardens. Now the gardens I'm talking about are my raised beds, and they're floral. They're not the food ones, but it works. So, just experiment. Again, Lugasa is right around the corner. We've got a full moon right around the corner. You can totally give homage to that. You could even give some kind of an offering to your ancestors. Think about that. I mean, we're coming into the fall. What a beautiful thing. Next week, like I said, I'm leaving to go to Salem, and I will be out in Salem. I will be doing recordings. I will be doing postings out on my sites, the Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok. Watch for them, ask questions. And, I will go to different sites, and I'll do a little recordings for you, and I can explain some different things, for you. I'm happy to do that for you if you're interested. It is a 400-year anniversary this year of Salem. And it's going to be quite different. The energy out there is, if you've never been, I encourage you to go. It's a wonderful thing. And, you can go year round. You don't have to just go in October. It does get a little insane. I've been out there a few times in October. I've been a part of the Haunted Happenings Parade. That's a treat. Yep. That's a lot of energy. Not enough water in the world, guys. What do you think? You like my cup? This is from Salem. I bought this at a gift shop out there. It's just kind of my fun little homage to them. But I love to go out there and do things. I'm actually looking forward, because I'm going to be going out to celebrate Lammas Lugasa with my temple. And, it's just what I do. If you're ever curious about it, it's called Cabot Kent Hermetic Temple, and you can do a donation, and you can watch. They do actually record it, and they play it live, so you can watch it from home and see what it's about. And I encourage you, if you want to learn more, there's so many wonderful teachers out there. I'm there for you. You can reach out to me at Midwest Witchery and Healing. You can take courses with me. I teach a lot of different things, from herbalism to witchcraft to Akashic records to mediumship. I've got a lot of different things in my hat, and then we've got other people that teach stuff there too. So we're here for you. We've got this wonderful community. And while I have you on, for those of you who follow, that we do Cackle and Cauldron the first Sunday of every month. We're switching it up for August. Okay. It's going to be August 15th. It's Saturday the 15th. I'm going to validate, or verify and validate that, because my head is not screwed on tight tonight. The 15th, it is August 15th. It's on a Saturday morning from 10 until noon. We're doing Cackling Cauldron. It is free. You can come meet like-minded people. We sit and chit-chat about herbs. We chit-chat about spell work, about astrology, about anything that you can think of that, meets the need of what you need. And it's a great way to connect. If you're just learning tarot, you're going to find people that, oh my gosh, you know what? Look at that. You live 3 miles down the road from me, and then you hook up and, you can learn from one another. You're having a problem with a spell that you can't quite get off the ground. That's what we're there for. I've built this community because when I was a little girl, I didn't have that nourishment. I was learning as I went. And I mean, I've been practicing witchcraft, you guys, since I was 7 years old. 7 years old. I'm 58. So I've practiced a long time. And, it's when you're in a community and you don't have a lot of people around you, or you're scared to come out of the broom closet and you want to ask questions and you don't know where to go or where to lean, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. There's so many wonderful people in the community that can help. And that's what we're all here to do, is help one another. So with that being said, we're coming up on 8 o'clock. And I just want to wish everybody a very blessed Lugasa or Lammas, depending on how you pronounce it. And I want everybody to please take care of yourself. 2 more days of this Mercury retrograde, you guys. And then, so this week is still going to be a little chaotic. So just take it with a grain of salt. You can do it. You can get through it. And thank you. Thank you for being there with me tonight, as I've been really blue. I have been just really blue. And tonight I feel so much better. I can just feel the love around me. I feel my family around me. I feel, my son True, my adopted son True. I feel my mom. I feel my grandma. I just, I feel all my loved ones around me right now. And I'm just content. I'm just content. And with that, I'm just going to send you off and wish you guys all a very, very blessed evening. Not sure where Kelly is.
Something new is unfolding at the Edge. The latest issue of Edge magazine is here, filled with voices that awaken your heart, expand your mind, and remind you that you're part of something much bigger. Explore conscious living, holistic wellness, energy healing, spirituality, and the art of awakening, all in one inspiring space. Awaken, discover, connect, and be curious. Print editions are now on the streets, and you can also read it online at edgemagazine.net. Welcome to the Edge. We have been waiting for you. You are right where you are supposed to be. Welcome home.